Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Helen Redfern, and in my last couple of videos I spoke about getting back to writing my novel, and I thought today I would show you how I'm getting back into writing it. I started writing a novel called Burnt Chocolate 10 years ago in 2009. Then I stopped, as I want to do and as I have done over the last decade. I stopped writing for a while at that point though, because I did have a small baby as well as a 6-year-old. And so life just took over for a while, and then we moved house to the countryside in 2012, which was a big move, and I took the decision to just step back from writing for a while and to just focus on my children, who are both settling into new schools. If you know anything about me, we took on chickens and ducks and dogs and cats, and basically we were just getting used to all of that. Then in 2013-2014 I made the decision to come back to writing. I started writing for a website called Novelicious. I was approached by an agent. I was signed on by an agent, and this was all based on a column I wrote all about food in female fiction. So I started putting together the first 3 chapters of that. I started writing the proposal for it so it would be ready to go out to publishers via my agent. And that is what took over. It didn't work out. There is not a happy ending to that story. And I decided to focus on writing online, and I created my Instagram account. My blog went through lots of changes until it became the one I've got today. I started writing courses. I started being some kind of Instagram influencer. I had lots of different projects going on, and it all kept me away from my novel, which is a long-term project. And I think I was addicted to the rush of writing a blog post and getting it written and then read instantly and getting that initial feedback straight away. And the thought of doing something with a novel that can take a year to write, it just didn't give me that same rush. Then in 2017 I started to re-outline my novel, and I chatted about this process on a video. In that video I used a book, a really good book by Libby Hawker called Take Off Your Pants, and it helped me to identify certain aspects of my novel and made me think about it more. But again, once more, I just stopped. Again, I got distracted by other projects. And then in 2018, I plucked up the courage to put the first chapter of my novel on my blog, and I chatted about it. I got some great feedback. People wanted to read more. And then guess what? I stopped again. And now it's 2019, and in front of me you can see I've got draft 6. I think this is draft 7. I've got the outline, which is what I talked about with the Libby Hawker book, and I started making notes on that. I've also got cards with chapter 1 to chapter 20 on it, which isn't the end of the book actually. Oh yes, it is. It is. See, I don't even know. That's the end of the book. So I've got 20 chapters there, which I will have taken from one of my drafts. I've got various themes here: depression, writing, chickens, spoiler alert, baking, a card about her nana, So that is in that pack there. And then last year also I started to replot the book and I got up to chapter 7 and again I stopped. There is very much a theme here, isn't there, where I get so far and then I stop. So in my last couple of videos I talked about how I was going to change things, and instead of focusing on short-term projects, I was now going to focus on just a couple of goals. One of my goals is my YouTube channel, and my other goal is to get my writing ready for publication, starting with this project, Burnt Chocolate. I've stepped back from Instagram. I'm not making that a priority. I'm not spending hours creating photographs for Instagram. I am not focusing on my blog. I have taken a step back from all of it so I can concentrate on my novel. It's time for me to refamiliarise myself with my novel and to really get to know the characters, because I've got so far with my first few drafts, but now I need to give it more meat. A lot more meat. I'm moving that to one side. I want to start writing draft 2. And these are some of the tools I've got. So this is my regular journal, and I write all sorts in here. Every time I write something to do with burnt chocolate, I will always put some spotty washi tape on it just so that I can identify that it's to do with burnt chocolate. And then I've got some more here earlier on as well. So I am starting to think about it. I am starting to make notes about it. And then I have been watching some videos by Sarah of Heart Breathings, and this is actually her printouts that I've got off her blog by signing up to her newsletter. And I'm basically starting to get to know my main character again. So this is the character's inner journey, and my character's name is Eve Church. She's 37, she's got green eyes, auburn hair, and she's 5'7", and she's very well dressed. She is also, and I haven't written that on here, but I've written this on my own questionnaire that I've done. I've done where do they live, where do they work, and by they I mean my main character. Do they have a family, and do they have any key friends? Just so I can keep track of names and people, but also to give me in my head, I can picture it a bit better. So I wanted her to live somewhere that was within about half an hour commute of London. So I'm putting her in Milton Keynes, and I want her family to live in the countryside. So they are living in Northamptonshire. So that's a car ride away. Her husband's called David. She's got a baby who they call Baby Rose. And she works in, well, she'll have a baby, that happens within the book, but she works in a West End law firm called Gibston and Stack, and she is the acting head of the corporate department. Her education, now I'm trying to work this out, but she is very well educated. She's got 10 A's at GCSE, 4 A's at A-level. She went to the University of Bristol, and she's got her LPC, and then she was taken on by Magic Circle Law Firm. So hopefully by all of this, you get the impression that this is a real high flyer. And then she was poached to a West End law firm to make it more dynamic. Does she have a family? Yeah, the people mentioned in the book are her nana, her sister, her brother-in-law. She's got a niece that I couldn't spell. She's got her mum and her dad. And a key friend is Alice, who is also her assistant at work, and she's got her work colleagues. Mr. Threadgold is the managing partner, and Peter is her other colleague. So this already helps me have more of an idea. And these are all things that I kind of had in my head as I was writing it, but just to put it down on paper helps me enormously. Within this one that Sarah has written, it asks things like, what is her deepest desire? What do they truly need even if they don't realise it yet? What happened in her past that hurt them or made them who they are now? And then down here, I drew a little timeline, I think, of Eve and her mood, if you like. So here we have Eve in 2014, then she has a baby and she drops down, then there's a turning point, and then in the end she's above where she started. I think in some books maybe they start low but then they go up, but mine starts quite high and then drops down and then goes up even higher. And this is all because of things that I've put in here, that she isn't aware of certain things. And then what I did next was this, and again this is all from Sarah, her outer and inner goals, motivations and conflicts, and then her character arc. So she starts off as ambitious, expecting her baby just to fit in very smoothly and to go back straight back to work. And then she kind of has a moment when she realizes, actually this is already disrupting my life and I haven't had the baby yet, and it's not going to be as smooth sailing as I originally thought. So from that realization, she then decides to take back control and she reduces her maternity leave and decides she's just going to come back in a few weeks rather than a few months. And yes, from saying that, you obviously know that it's not going to work out like that. And then I'm now starting to look at Act 1. But before, and again, this is Sarah's thing, but before I fill that in fully, what I have done here, this is all me working things out in my head. So Eve is 37 in 2014. So that makes her born in 75. Cynthia is her mother, who is 63, and I've worked out when she was born as well and what age she was when she had Eve, and Charlotte, who is Eve's sister, and then I've worked out how old Charlotte is, and how old she was when she had her child. I might even do a family tree as well. And then we've got Eileen, who is 79, and that is Eve's paternal grandmother, and Eve's father is called Leonard, so she had Leonard at an early age at 17. And then I've just written the years down here, so things like when Poppy, which is Eve's niece, when she was born, when her grandfather died, when her mum and dad were born, and it was also the same year that Eileen got married. I've put in the Second World War, when Eileen was born, when Ted was born, when Eve was born, when Charlotte was born. So I'm just starting to write down key moments. So that's where I am right now, and I'm now going to start writing Eileen's backstory, and then I'm going to write Cynthia's backstory and Charlotte's as well, and then a little bit more about Eve before I then start looking at the plot and the different acts. So there's Act 1 and Act 2, which I haven't printed off yet, and that I'm going to work my way through. So I'm basically just, from everything that I've written in here, I'm deciding what bits I'm keeping, what bits I'm taking out, but also giving more flesh to the bones. So I'm working out exactly Eve's age, just a simple thing, but I think it varies throughout the different drafts, and I've made her younger and I've made her older, but now I've decided that she is 37 and that it's set within the year 2014, and that is quite important because of things that go on externally to Eve's life, but then comes together later on in the second act of the story. So yeah, that's where I am right now. I'm not actually going to start writing anything new yet. I am basically all about the planning at the moment, and it helps me. The planning part of it does. It really does help me. I think I have tried to just go with the flow a lot when writing, but I've realised that I am a planner, and I've realised that through other aspects of writing, that I am a planner and I work best to a plan. And I thought what I would do on my YouTube channel is every month I will show you what I've been doing, what has helped me, what tips I've taken on board, what books I've read, what YouTubers, there might be some writing YouTubers that I've come across and that have helped me, and just show my writing journey as I get this ready to submit out to agents. That is the end goal. If that doesn't work with the whole agent thing, then I may decide to self-publish, and so I will share that journey as well. So it's going to be a whole journey of what is going to happen with Burnt Chocolate. So if you're interested in writing, or just interested in how a writer writes, or how this writer writes, then I really do hope that you will follow along and subscribe to my channel. And I hope that what it will do is push me to get this done. I am determined that this is not going to be something that I do for a bit and then forget about again. This is going to be my life for the next 4 months. Burnt Chocolate is my big project, and I want to get to the end of it, and by September I want it ready for submitting to agents.